All right, everyone, it's done. Well, you know it's never done, but my garage is fully functional, fully organized, lots of prototypes, lots of production stuff, lots of really cool stuff. A lot of firsts for me. Seems like every garage I do, there's a bunch of firsts. But I want to take you through a full tour, take you through all the parts and pieces that are in this garage, and then I think I'm going to have to do this over several different videos over several months because there's a lot in here. Where, I don't know, when did I move in here? I got this house in July. We started the garage probably, September? So 4 months or so worth of work to get this thing done. And it's here and it's freaking glorious. So when I start with a garage, I always start with lighting first. You want to do lighting first because it makes the most mess. And so these are Cree linear fixtures. There are 9 8-footers and 3 4-footers, and a little foreshadowing, I need 2 more rows. So I'm gonna actually put symmetrically another row up tight here. I don't need more light, I just need a little bit better dispersion. There's a little shadowing in the corner, a little shadowing in that corner. I'm also gonna run another row basically right in parallel with the front of the cabinets here. But the way that this lighting works is we have a radio control or a remote control. By the way, we offer all this stuff in the OG store. We also offer design service. If you go to design@obsessedgarage.com, shoot them an email, or just go to the design page. You can talk to the design guys and they can do lighting calcs. And Kyle told me I needed more lights. I'm like, no, 3, let's just do 3 and see how it goes. Well, I should have listened to my own darn design team. So the way that this works, this is called a Pico, so a Lutron Pico. And so I program it, I press the button, and I can dim. Most of the time when I'm in here and I'm not videoing, I'm gonna run it at like 70%. Right now we're at 100%, so we can get maximum lighting for the video. But because I am videoing a lot, and actually no matter what, if I was detailing a lot or doing anything where I'm working on engine bay or anything specific, I'm gonna flamethrow it. I wanna overlight the place and then have the ability to dim it down for more like relaxing comfort. Next thing in the garage to me is flooring. So if you're asking me, what do I do first? First you do lighting, then you do flooring, then you do pressure washer, then you do cabinets. Is the way if I were budgeting this and sort of building this out. There may be some considerations depending on where you live and what you do first, but lighting, flooring, then a custom pressure washer, and then you do cabinets. So this is Swiss Trax Rib Trax Pro. I'm going to actually pull like 95% of this floor out. We put the floor in before we'd cut the door and did the Pro Slide and did a bunch of other stuff. So it's got a bunch of construction dirt all over it, and I want to pull it out. I'm gonna, Built Hamber Surfex it, just all-purpose cleaner it. Probably use a broom and just brush it, flip it over, brush it, rinse it off, let it dry in the sun, and we'll pop it back in place. I'll make a video on that for you. But even as dirty as it is, it's not just on camera, but in person. The beauty of this flooring, you get like a little piece of grass or a leaf. You can just grab the leaf like I do. There's 3 or 4 of them that come in here, and I just pick it up, throw it in my pocket, and throw it in the trash. So the flooring is counterintuitive. It always stays clean. It always looks clean. Even if you're in the north where you're getting, right now this time of year as the winter subsides and you're coming into the spring season, if I lived in the Northeast or anywhere it snowed, I would pop my floor out in sections. I would sweep up all the salt and debris. The nice thing about the flooring is it's not slippery when wet. There's channels under it so water can drain, so I can wash in here as well. So it just makes for, I think, a better, garage experience. I think epoxy, a really well done epoxy can look better, but epoxy's a lot like having a paint job that looks good from 10 feet away. To me, it never, the whole reason why they throw the specs on it is to, take your attention away from the fact that when you're doing a glossy floor and you're rolling it out, it's impossible to get rid of the imperfections. It's slippery. If you add anti-skid to it, then it attracts dirt and becomes basically uncleanable. And then there's a high probability of failure. This I could pack up and take with me. And it certainly fits the style, the garage I'm looking for. The other option I would consider doing would be a burnished, polished concrete, which costs 2 times more than this, or like a really high density, low slip rating porcelain tile, which would cost 3 times more than this, 4 times more than this. And so I always err on the side of this because I don't have to sweep it. I can just, leave it be and then vacuum it once every 6 months or so. So then after flooring, you go to pressure washer. And so this is the not final, but pretty close to final. This is the production prototype. And so this will be very close to what you'll see available with a few tweaks to handles. But this is I have a dual setup. Most of you will end up doing a single Krensla setup. Actually, it would be this section here. You can bolt on as many of these as you want, but this is our designed deionization system. It passes up to 10 gallons a minute, so it can handle Krensla, it can handle dual Krensla, it can handle quad Krenslas if you wanted to. But the system is coming probably later this year. Every time we come out with a new version, we realize there's a lot to producing. I thought I would have had this thing 6 months ago, but there's a lot that goes into when we don't have a manufacturing business to start manufacturing, and then how do we ship this thing? And so we're working out all those details. But it's going to come in many different variants. You'll be able to just buy the DI and bolt it onto your system and pull your CR out and put this in place if that's something you wanted to do. It'll have the option to do, you can do the shelves, multiple shelves. We've also designed it with. By the way, these are available by the time you're watching this video. We have a bunch of different mounts in stainless and black powder coated. This is very similar to the finish on Sonic MSS Plus and also the Pro Slot cabinets. But these pivoting hose reel mounts are available. We have fixed mounts as well for anywhere from 16 to 24 inch on center. So if you wanted to simplify your installation process with your Cox reel, we do have that available. We have a matching, black powder-coated Cox reel with a 100-foot OG spec hose with Mosmetic fittings, and then we also have our own wand mounts. A lot of these mounts for the Pro Slatwall, we're still prototyping, so those will be coming as well soon. But the shelves that you see on the wall, not the Pro Slat mount, but the regular wall mountable, I believe we make them in 18, 30, 36, and 50 inches. And then they are, wall mountable as well. Really, really sweet. So we do them in 8-inch, 10-inch, I believe is what we're going to stock. And then eventually we'll have a custom program. We'll also have floating shelves available. The first floating shelf we did needed some more bracing and gusseting. They were a little too flimsy. And then the T316 and T304 stainless shelves will be coming after that soon. I'm kind of moderating away from stainless just because it's so much harder to take care of and harder to keep looking nice. This awesome finished black powder coating is what we kind of all want at OG, and so we're suggesting that to most people. So those are live in the store. By the time you're watching this, same thing with the hose reel mounts. And then we also have, I don't have it here because I only really use one nozzle, but a lot of the people love to have the nozzle mounts and stuff like that. So we have some accessory mounts for our Mosmatic, and we'll also very soon have the OG version as well of a mount for the gun and wand. We have our Mike brought in cold water here. With DI, you can't run warm water anyway, and so I said, let's just do cold water to the pressure washer. Krenslas can handle up to 140 degrees, but which is technically not hot, but hotter than most. My water heater set to 120. So parasitic loss through the line, I'm not going to get much more than say 110 degrees to the pressure washer. But regardless, I'm running quarter turn prior hose bib into our T316 super flexible hose. I don't think it gets much cleaner than that. And then what I'm going to be doing here shortly, we have these mounts already. If you wanted to just mount it directly to the wall, we're working on a mount for our foam cannons So we do offer foam cannon attachments to your wand holder if you wanted that. I want to put them on the wall, and so it's going to look something like this. And then with my Pro Slatwall, I'm able to kind of move them around and set it up however I want. So the foam cannons are another little future thing I'm going to be working on here. I have some mounts. I'm going to drill these mounts, but Joe and Tommy actually have developed some that are coming very soon, which will be available for the Slatwall stuff. So then, since we're kind of in this vicinity, you have accessories for the pressure washer, bucket filler. This is the prior P118. We've just actually had a major price reduction, but this one has a hot-cold mixer. And then I've got a 24-inch bucket filler hose where I can fill up my buckets. Obviously, OG bucket package, and it's really nice to have hot water here now as an option. So I can do up to whatever my house can deliver. The whole house has a water softener on it. That doesn't make spot-free water, and so having DI available in the pressure washer is important to me. Having DI in these buckets takes up a lot of water, sucks through a resin. It also, when you put your pH neutral soap in, it neutralizes any hardness left over in my softened water. So not an issue for me. And so I preferred hot water rather than DI water, but notice we do have an outlet on here for some people who have really nasty water and you're willing to pay for it through resin replacement more often. We are going to have a bucket filler option solution for our custom install setup as well. I also failed to mention this gives us a incoming and outgoing TDS reading, which is really cool to see. Right now I have it in bypass. So by the time you're watching this video, the pre-order should be up. Pressol. This is Brake Buster. It's been sitting in here for 6 months. They've been testing it for about 12 months. So I don't think it's going to last forever with a really high alkaline product like this. But shoot, if I can get 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, 18 months, it'd be a miracle. So the bottles are now fluorinated. So products like Tarex, I used to put, these are the only two I have, right? All the rest are old. And so this is fluorinated, which makes our label stick better. So I don't get air bubbles and stuff on our label. We've developed a new adhesive as well on our labels. And then this product would seep right through pretty much any bottle that was HDPE. So it had to be PET plastic, which I don't like for a bottle. And so now it's fluorinated, so it'll keep the product in the bottle. It literally, I put a label on, it was stuck super tight, and then you walk out the next day, it would just like fall straight off. It wouldn't peel off, the label would just fall on the ground. But we have stainless steel tips, and I think that the final production is a little bit different than this. But we're gonna have bottles. We're gonna have the spray heads. We're gonna have also these all have a silicone tube, which is also, see that little spring on there, which is also keeps when you're doing things like drying aids and things like that are really slick. The tubes on a lot of sprayers would fall off. And so we have a little spring-loaded connection. They also operate upside down as well because of the weighted tube. And so having silicone weighted spring whatever attached makes them freaking awesome. They also atomize a little better. If you bought some Pressol bottles, the orifice on the stainless is more accurate and a little bit or allows us a little bit more adjustability. They're incredible. These, I've been informed, are not coming in the first shipment, so these will not be on the preliminary pre-order. But we're expecting March 10th-ish to have pre-order with arrival around April 15th-ish. So we're hoping the container gets shipped here shortly. We were planning March 15th arrival. They can't, the holdup, the thing that takes the longest to produce are the metal tips. And so these are going to be hard to get for a little while until they need to buy another machine. But these LDPE squeeze bottles will be coming soon. And then wait till you see what we're doing with gallons. We're going to have a 4-liter that matches all of this and gives you this sort of magical look. Then my plan is to put OG drying aid, OG tire dressing, Atom Mac, P&S, CarPro eraser. We're going to start actually bottling it in these bottles in our gallons with a co-branded label from all the brands. So that's coming very soon. So this is not something I sell, but this sucks, so don't buy this. This is from Port and Hall, things like 180 bucks. But we did put the door in. So I've been looking for, I'm on a floor mat chase. I'm embarrassed to say how much money I've spent on floor mats here recently. Somebody sent me LL Bean as thanks for that suggestion, that they make some really awesome entry mats. So I'll be looking that up. So this door, I wanted the door to open this way because 99% of the time I go out this door, I'm just throwing stuff in the trash can. So my trash is right there. I bought some trees that are pretty much all dead because I bought them at the wrong time. But the trees are going to grow up around our stuff. And it's gonna, it's gonna be a nice little walkway. But I put them in the winter, and then I forgot the sprinklers were turned off, and so I'll probably have to replant those and redo those anyway. And everybody's freaking out. The air handler's not centered over. You can't center it over the door because the air handler is the same width as the door, and there's a line set. So the line set has to run straight down. We had installed this before we were even going to do the door, and so this is what we get. It's fine. It doesn't bother me. So you can yell and scream all you want in the comments. So another thing that is I'm trying for the first time, I've always adamantly been against Slatwall. It's like DIY dad stuff. And I wanted to, it's like getting a Corvette. I had to buy it and experience it and decide. I'm torn. I'm like 70-30 on it. There's some really huge advantages, like my shelves. I mounted my shelves over here, and then I realized, well, no, they need to be over here. And then we said, well, we really want to shift this over, so then I moved them over here. I have 20 holes in the wall had I not had the ability to make adjustments with Slatwall. So I think it's a viable thing. I mean, in normal Matt Mormon fashion, it's like all or nothing, so I did, I don't know how many, $10,000 worth of Slatwall in here. I wish they would make this in a metal, like in a matte gray finish like this. You either do like a shiny aluminum or like a faux carbon fiber. So plastic is not my top choice, but I'm sure on camera and in photos, I know this looks incredible. In person, it looks good. It also helps when you have a master craftsman like Mike and Trevor putting it in. If you're doing it yourself, it's probably not going to be as good looking as this. But installation is reasonable. It just takes a lot of time and then gives you a lot of extra functionality to be able to put things wherever you want, which is nice. I'm not going to use it like intended to mount rakes and leaf blowers and stuff like that. But if you were going to do that, it'd be really nice. Here's my 60 amp dedicated for my Tesla charger. So there was a Leviton here, and I took it off and I just put it on the curb. These guys, I just gave it away. Somebody took it in 30 seconds. So then the next thing you buy in your garage are cabinets. And this is my first personal experience outside of seeing the cabinets at trade shows and putting them at the Waba's house. This is my first experience with them. But this is the ProSlat Lux line. There's ProSlat Fusion, ProSlat Lux. The only difference is the handles. The cabinets and everything are the same. I did this in custom black. I guess Lux wasn't available in black, but it really wasn't much for them to just basically powder coat the drawer faces. And so these are all Austrian Glide. Oh shoot, I pulled the only drawer that's empty. I have two empty drawers. So these are 440 pound capacity. So tons and tons of capacity capability, which I'm not getting anywhere near that in any of the drawers. The drawer that I have the most weight in is this one here, which is the half-inch socket drawer. It's just a little bit too short to fit in one of the regular drawers. But the Austrian Glides they're using, there's their Ordian Austrian Glides, same glides that Lista uses. You have a decent fit and finish. They're square. They don't have any powder coating defects. The way that these work is you have the drawer box, and then you have two screws, and the handle cinches up the drawer face. So there's not a lot of adjustment, but I found that there isn't a lot of adjustment needed. As long as I kind of set them all up the same, so I just pulled them all to its maximum. There's a little bit of play, for adjustability. I was able to get them all pretty darn square looking. Everything looks good. They have leveling feet, toe kicks. The upper cabinets are a really nice size. I like the 40-inch width. So all the boxes they make are 40-inch. They do make is it a 3-drawer? Yeah. Yeah. So they make a 3-drawer, and then they make this 5-drawer. I've been trying to talk them into, I really want a 6-drawer. So I want this bottom drawer to be split in 2. So you have 2 slightly oversized drawers. But in general, it's a pretty decent design. The internal dimension of each drawer is about, like 3 inches or so. So you can stand up with tool grid. You can stand up a socket, like a deep well socket. So with the liner in it. Yeah, so we have 3 inches, 3 1/8 inches of depth. Take the liner out, you have 3 1/4 inches of depth. Your internal drawer size is just shy of 36 at 35 3/4, and I believe they're 20 inches deep internal. The other nice thing about these drawers is there's nothing on the side. So a lot of drawers will have the way that they mount the glides. They'll have even Sonic has like little tabs that grab the side of the drawer. These have a welded, integrated drawer slide. And so all of the connection points are either underneath or kind of built in. And so that makes it really nice for doing tool grid. So if you look at like my Park Tool drawer, I can get my tool grid boards in very precisely. So these tool grids boards are 6 by 6, 6 inch by 6 inches. So since we're talking about that, that's the one thing that I've spent the most time on. I have one screwdriver out because I was painting in the house, but I know where all my tools are. I know what everything is. I'm developing these solutions, and actually by the time you watch this video, we will have all the essentials packages of tools available. I'd love for you to have this drawer. This drawer is probably $8,000 or $9,000 worth of tools in it. I want you to have it. I want you to have the master collection of Knipex. I also am not, stupid. I mean, this is not easy to get. This is what I do for a living. I buy tools and play with them, figure out what, and put sets together, and then I'm able to sell some and justify, purchasing these. So what we've done is we've created an assortment of basic, advanced, and ultimate. And so what Tommy, Nick, and I did is we spent a week going through. So I built the master collection. So this drawer of Knipex comes from a 300-page catalog. I ordered probably 3 times the amount of this to come up with this master collection. And then from there, we kind of dumbed it down. What do I need to have? What would I want to have, and what would be aspirational? So we created a pathway or steps to get here. So we're going to have Wera, Koken, Knipex. We'll also have coming here soon Iriga. I think these are the best. These are the best adjustable wrenches on the market or on the planet. These are made in Spain. We're going to have a Grip-On, which is my last grouping of tools that are coming that goes in this drawer. Stabila, I need to talk to them. I haven't talked to them yet. Stabila Levels, so this is where my Grip-On stuff is going to go, and NES, so that's coming here soon. And then I have a couple of drawers of just my random car part stuff. Actually, I only have the one drawer. So this is like jack pads and Porsche stuff and my safety seal kit for plugging tires. But most of the drawers have a theme. So we might as well just go through them all. So vacuum and air accessories. The vacuum, well, we'll go into the vacuum in a minute. There's a lot going on here in this garage. Milwaukee accessory sets. I have a bunch of this built. It's not necessarily on the site. Shoot a message to Tim. Tim at obsessedgarage.com. Tim can kind of help you, don't you want this in your life? Or you have this kind of awesome thing set up and available. And so we have these built much, much better than what you have is like Home Depot options. But I have this. I've got this stuff too. I've got, let's see, so there's some more Milwaukee accessories. I've got these built as well. I've got concrete bit sets. So I've got all this stuff built and available. And I'm probably not going to carry this stuff long term. So if you want like a crazy deal, shoot Tim an email, either Manny or Tim at obsessedgarage.com, and they can kind of help you get it figured out. I've got hole saws. I've got the pack outs with Sawzall and jigsaw blades available. And so I probably have like 10 sets of each that I'd kind of put together that we're probably going to sell off. And I'd love to carry this. It's just so specific, and these get really expensive at retail. And so I'll have that available if it's something you're interested in. But you just shoot us an email. You can shoot me an email too if you need some advice, Matt@obsessedgarage.com. So the remaining Knipex tweezers, the Iriga, I've got, these are pry bars from Osca, and then the two big, bolt cutters and two big Knipex connectors there. This is going to be for grip-on and Stabila. This drawer here was the Porsche stuff. Oh, I do have another empty drawer. Nice. Not many empty drawers left. My Koken set, which is my pride and joy. I can't tell you how many hours I have into this. I'm about a third of the way through my labeling. So this drawer is primarily almost labeled. I've got a few left over that I need to add. This drawer, I'm about a third of the way through labeling. This is all 3/8 stuff. So Tool Grid has these awesome labels, and I had to grab some more of them in order to keep on the project. So I've been using the Knipex tweezers. This is when you know you're obsessed, to go through and set this all up. But again, Tool Grid, the way Tool Grid works is this is a 6x6 board, and it clips together much like Swiss tracks. And then I can cut it very precisely. I cut it with a floor tile cutter. You'd probably cut it with a table saw. But you make a nice precise fit. And then you have all these little pieces with little feet that clip into place. And then you can organize all this stuff with tooltip holders and socket holders and ratchet head holders, everything you need, screwdriver holders. And so all that stuff plays and works together. And then I worked with Tool Grid to get rid of the color. I wanted it to just be gray and black. And so all these are a gunmetal gray finish, and I think looks incredible. This is my 1/2-inch stuff. And then down here is this drawer. I just finished this drawer today. So this drawer here, I'm not going to tell you how much this drawer is. You want these. So you want the Stahlvilla torque wrenches. I think I'd skip the really big one, but you want these 3. Actually, these 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But you don't want to buy, each one of these heads is like $80, $80 to like $180. And so it's like $20,000 worth of, I didn't know this. This is what happens when you order one of everything. And then I'm doing it, money, no object, don't think about the price, put it together. And then when Nick and Tommy and I were adding this up on the spreadsheet, like, oh boy, this, no one's going to buy this. So, but what you want is you want this with the regular head. But see how cool this is? The heads pop off, and then you can grab any of these as long as it's the right size. The problem is there's 3 different sizes, and then there's whatever 20 sizes of each of the 3 different sizes, and it adds up to a lot. But these this is the 730N series. And you adjust your spec from the knob here. Really, really cool. Super, super awesome. It's weird. For them to deload, you go all the way to the right, where most you would go all the way to the left. It's just interesting from Stahlvilla, but I freaking love this drawer. A couple of Park tools in there as well. And then you saw this already. I do have to grid those 2 extensions, but this is all 1/2-inch deep socket stuff that I won't use all that often. This is all Wera and Hazette primarily. So like check out something like this. So I'm making a decision to, instead of buying all individual little micro screwdrivers, I'm using the interchangeable heads, or the little heads that you can adjust, and then I have a single handle. But then on screwdrivers, like flatheads, I don't want it, you could do interchangeable heads as well with this, but I want, if you needed to save some space, but I like a fixed screwdriver for that application. So again, this is like picking a stock for your portfolio. Somebody has to decide what to do. And then down here is all of my Phillips. And they did the same thing with the voltage, the VDE screwdrivers, is you take, and they have a single handle, and then you just have adjustable, heads, which you can adjust and swap out. And so it takes up a little less space, but sure does look pretty in a drawer. And then you come in here and make sure that your kids aren't messing with your stuff. You can always tell if something's missing. So clearly you don't need, I think it's like 70 screwdrivers. The Essentials collection, we narrowed it down to much, much less. So that's something to consider. Then we have our wrenches, and then our different bits available. Has that where, and I'm going to do a video dedicated to probably each one of these drawers. We have Slatwall, and believe it or not, gear wrench are my favorite adjustable or ratcheting wrenches. They have these really long flex head, 120 tooth wrenches that I think they're better than Snap-on. They're better than Shelving. They're better than Facom. I bought the ones that were really nice, but they were only a 6 point was SNK that somebody had suggested. And check out this drawer. I just finished this drawer. You haven't seen this drawer yet. This is Oska and Thor hammers. Really cool stuff. So I got my hammer set complete. I think I'm waiting on one, plastic hammer, but I've got non-marking rubber mallets, regular rubber mallets. I've got, dead blow stuff. I've got some with interchangeable heads. It's freaking sick. And then I just finished this today. This is my Matt Mormon version of a Park Tool Master Collection. If you're interested in the bike toolkit, I want to say it's like $5,000, from Park Tool. But I'll send you my spreadsheet. I spent an embarrassing amount of hours kind of figuring out which Park tools I want. It'll at least get you started. Because I bought the whole Master Collection. Well, I got it for Christmas. The whole Master Collection is going to Helen. So I have that at HQ. We're putting that in cabinets. I'm going to go and build my dedicated bike mechanic room. Then I'm going to go eventually talk Park Tool and SRAM into taking me to school. So I'm going to go to bike maintenance school here soon. Probably later this year. And so I have all the different tools, starting with Park Tool. This is a lot like starting with Sonic and then building out your other stuff. I know there's Abbey tools and there's other companies that make awesome tools too, but I'm starting with Park Tool. I got all my little, SRAM, brake bleeding kit and all that stuff. Then it gets into more sophisticated tools like, bottom bearing tools, crown tools. You've got, bottom bracket, and all the different tools and I tried to narrow it down to what I may actually need. So if it was Shimano, SRAM, Chris King, I would probably use those tools. So I try to get rid of like Campagnolo and things like that I'm never going to use, and some of the really old bike stuff. And down here, we've got our sort of final wrenches. This is kind of sprinkled in the more sophisticated hub tools, bearing press tools from Park Tool, and then these are awesome. So I'm gonna have these in the store soon as well. 8 tool. These are really, really awesome, super precise, but very simple hex keys, Allen keys, if you want to call them that. So I know saying Allen is kind of like saying Kleenex. And down here is just some computer stuff. So my Altel, some chargers, and then my high torque tool. My detailing stuff is over here. So I have an empty drawer. All this will go on the wall here. I'm gonna figure out something cool for my keys. So we'll figure that out soon. Empty drawer, and then my detailing stuff. So detailing drawer here. interior and coating stuff, polishing batteries here. This doesn't like this very much. It keeps popping out. I need to figure something else out here for that. And then my polishers are down here. Pretty clean, I'd say, huh? Just a couple of hours in here. Detailing chemicals here. And my 2 ego chargers. Polishing chemicals are here. And then this is my testing area, things that I'm considering. Towels are on the left, and gallons are above. And this worked out perfectly. It's like 1 tippy toe height for me. So for anybody else, let's get a ladder out, but all I have to do is just do a little tippy toe and I can reach to close it. And so towels, this is pretty cool. I need to add a little bit more spacer to this because I put Swiss tracks in the bottom of my cabinets. But this is a Hefele garbage can, and I've been working on finding the exact right size bags. I think I found them. They're J series from Simple Human for this Hefele. It's supposed to self-close, but when I put the screw in here, there's a little lip, and so I need to put another little washer under there, and that's where I keep my ego blower. I have in this garage, audio is Dynaudio studio monitors. I have the 2 Core 59s and the Core Sub, which is more than plenty for this garage. This is the first generation LG OLED, like the very first one. I think it's called the E6. It's temporary until I get some money from spending all the money on this garage. But I'm probably going to do an 83 OLED here as well. Probably B series or maybe C series LG OLED will go here in this spot. I'm also contemplating, because of the spacing of my speakers, I may do just like a Sennheiser Ambio Max for sound, because I never like watch movies in here. I'm always watching TV, Netflix, and so I may just put a sound bar underneath the display and then just use the 2 speakers for audio. I'll kind of play with that, and we'll figure that out as we kind of put this together. This here is where I have my park tool or my bike fluids and just some basic maintenance stuff for cars. This is my new version of the Matt Moorman Milwaukee Master Collection. This is the practical Master Collection. So I'm kind of dumbing down how many tools I have in my Milwaukee set. And even this, there's some tools in here that I don't use every day. Yes, I have 5 tape measures. One of them's right there. Mike's missing. Mike took one, so I got to order another 16-footer. But that, yes, I do have that. And then over here is my vacuum system. So check this out, this is pretty sick. So we have the CoSpec microfiber, and I have an extra one in here sitting there. So I can take this off, it's Velcroed, I can take it off and wash it periodically. And you saw me struggling, I had the wrong hose on this. I'm testing a 230 volt, slightly higher flowing, but about the same amount of water lift. So about the same amount of suction, just flows more, and has a bigger canister, so you don't have to change the bag as often. But I would suggest to you, it's not going to be worth $500-600 more for the 230 volt version, unless you're a professional. And even then, the OG vacuum, if I was a pro, it's like 59 or 60 decibels loudness, super quiet, tons of suctions, killer. It's just not wet dry, it's only dry. But this is where we have our Cox hose reel with our sort of matching finish here in the powder coated sort of crinkle black. And then I have all my camera charging stuff. I bought a bunch of Furmans. I just finished that today. I tried to just VHB it and it fell off. And so I just put some screws in, so I have everything tied up nicely. And then I keep my my ruck pack here, but I have some room to fit something here if I may end up keeping my Viper stool in here. I'm gonna reach out to Viper and I'm gonna make something super custom for this garage for me. And then I have some rip and rags here that I've got to figure out what I'm doing there. My polishing pads are up here. And I have some extra extra gloves. And then over here on the right, this is how I turn the vacuum on. So there's a switch. I've got to glue my mufflers on. The muffler keeps falling off. So I keep my underhood light, my 4-foot stable at level, and then I have my Easy Coil Cox power cord, and then Easy Coil Cox air as well. So these are both 50 feet. They'll reach like 10 feet out of the driveway. And this is the core sub. So try to keep everything off of this wall with the exception of my bikes. And so these are what's called a steady rack. And so the bikes that I use most are these two. And so just to give you an idea, you're not supposed to mount them up this high. I want them up this high so that I can still walk by and still pull my car in. But it's pretty easy to get off. Now this bike is cheating because it weighs like 15 pounds. But when I come up here, bring my bike in, I want to put it away. All I do is just lift it, throw the front wheel up in position, make sure I get my wheel in the right spot, check my pedal, and I can push it all the way over. And I've been keeping my helmets on the seat like that. Even like a slightly heavier bike, this is like a 23-pound bike, I can get this off safely. Even with my M3 here, just come like this, boom. And when I want to put it back up, just lift it up and go. So I wouldn't advise this height if you're not as tall as me or maybe not as strong. Like I wouldn't have the kids or Michelle come get my bike off of here. And those two bikes I would only take off if the car wasn't, in place. So we have to finish the baseboard, a few touch-ups on the walls. You'll notice that my water line comes into the main water line for the house comes in here, but the front door is right there. And I wanted my water softener, and they always put it in the garage. I don't want a freaking water softener in the garage. And so that Prevost 2-inch piping is just a sleeve for PEX. So we have PEX running through there. And so I almost want to take Prevost and put it on the darn wall here just so I can see it. It looks awesome. So we get a little bit of Prevost lines in here. And then we did the two jack shaft operators. Another thing we have coming, and I have my new jack that I just got yesterday, which will go somewhere else. But I have another thing coming here soon, and this is an insulated door. We do have door insulation stuff. If you don't have an insulated door, you might want to check that out on the site. But we're going to be providing powder-coated track and then a powder-coated mounts for our garage doors, and we're going to offer a service where you just measure and then we make it built to order. The stuff is pretty standard, like the sweep here is pretty standard, and so this is going to be black powder coat. It's going to be really sweet, so I'll be showing you that soon. So that's another thing coming. We added attic access, so in the middle of this room there is it's 12 feet wide. There is a bonus room. That's where my home theater and office is. And so this is open on this side, but all the main trunk line for all the electrical is running here. And so we put our attic over here. And so what I have is right on top of this cabinet. You probably didn't see it. I got my little thing here. I couldn't do any powered stuff because this is it's a double truss. We didn't want to sister slaved or cut the trusses, and so I found like the only opening that fits in a 20-inch opening, and so I have to slum it up there, walk up there, pull it down manually. I don't have a remote control like in my last house, but if you had the room, you'd want to do the magic lift and magic stairs. So what else do we have in here? That's about it. I want to say this garage, if you took labor out, it's probably like, I should add it up for you. I don't know, man. I don't know what this would cost.
With the tools or without the tools?
Yeah, that's the thing. I've got $50K worth of tools. I don't even know how much the tools are. It's probably $50,000 worth of tools. So if you took the tools out, it's probably like 100 grand worth of stuff in here between lighting, flooring. And then to do this, you probably would have to budget $25,000 to $50,000 in labor, to have this done, to do. Now we put a freaking wall in here, I should probably add this up for you. But dimensionally, it's 30, I keep saying it's 31. Let me give you the exact dimension here. 31 feet 7, 22 feet 7. So I don't even have this car pulled. So this car is pulled where I normally would be. So I've got 6 feet to the car to work with. And so with the cabinets and everything in here, I've got plenty of space. So then what we'd added here to this room, to the garage, because it was very disjointed and I was trying to figure out what to do here. So this door wasn't here, so we added this door. This is an exterior door as well, so an insulated door. And so this, we created a mudroom because the regular garage wall was here, which would have been really nice for depth, but I can't like do cabinets the way I like to do it. And so this, we created a mudroom. And so these are NatureCast cabinets here that Mike and Trevor did for us. And then we found a nice quartz countertop. And then I saw this at one of the trade shows. NatureCast had built a little mudroom, little cubby thing. Apparently I don't get one, but I get the whole garage, so I guess I can't complain. So Kate, Michelle, and Ryan, they all get their little spot. I'm gonna put some like hangers on here so they can hang their backpacks. We also created a sports closet here. Clearly I gotta do a little organization to this, but this will be for all the balls and fishing poles and lures and pickleball bull crap that they do. And then this room back here is really cool. So this turned out great in that this section is where the vacuum and I gotta glue my muffler on, keeps falling off my vacuum. So this is the big vacuum. Ours is like, the one that we sell is like half the size of this, which is really, really awesome. So I keep my bike rack here, my surface cleaner, my Gorilla ladder and all this stuff. But this is about 30 inches wide and gives us the ability to store like ladders. My ladder normally goes in here and keep the things out of the garage. Things that I need more than I'm willing to go up in the attic to get. But most of the time that door just stays closed and this becomes storage. And then check this out. This is where my air handler was, which is now where the air compressor's back in the corner here. So I can open this up. This is like the size of a darn shed. This is awesome. This worked out great. And so I've had my tool grid in here. I keep my vacuum. My floor jacks will stay back here. And I've actually ordered a slightly smaller, so this is a 48 by 24 spider shelving from Russo. I ordered a 36 by 24 that'll have a bunch of drawers as well. So that's where I'll be able to put all my nuts and bolts and stuff like that. So really all this stuff is like M3 parts, GT3 parts, things that are service for the Raptor. So these are all things that will go away, but these will be things that I'll be using when necessary, or installing and using these shelves for when I get new car parts and stuff like that. And then here's our Werther Compact X CS Compact. Super, super quiet. And then Mike ran the Prevost through the wall. You can see it right here, how it connects. And so this has 3,500 Kelvin lighting, and then the garage is all 5,000. So we moved the air handler in the attic. We added a register in here, added a register in here. I think there's one up there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yep, added one in here, so this is conditioned. And then the main section of the mudroom, we're trapped. The main section of the mudroom is done by the extra head on the mini split, which is way overkill for this little room. But it's all conditioned and done well. So most of the time what I'm doing is I just keep these doors open to the house, and it becomes a whole nother room of the house. So it takes my 3,100 square feet house and makes it a 40, about another 1,000 square feet. This is where we've already filled it up. So I'm gonna have to do a bunch of tandems. They were like this much room, and now it's all freaking filled. And then this is where we have my Ubiquity network in here. Simple network with a cloud key, and then I upgraded to the switch because I bought a switch that didn't have enough power. So for right now, I've got all my nuts and bolts, which isn't ideal in these drawers because these drawers aren't rated for this much weight. But I've got these organized in here in little list of bins. But all of this stuff will go in that Rousseau cabinet in the back. Just stuff that you have around the house, shims and drywall anchors and weather stripping and stuff like that that you would normally have. I had a lot more of this kind of stuff. I left most of it at the last house, so I have simplified this a bunch. But that's the system here. So I can turn the lights on from here. I can turn the lights on and off from here, and I've got myself a fully functional setup. All it takes is a lot of time, a lot of expertise, and quite a bit of money, and then you can have something awesome like this. But we design garages like this all over the world all the time. Go to design@obsessedgarage.com or shoot them an email, or just go to the design page to start to learn about this. There's a lot that goes into this, picking where your outlets go, designing how your speaker wires run. There's a lot that goes into figuring this out. I know it seems so simple when you see it done, but when you start with a blank canvas, it would be really nice. We drew this up and knew where things were going to go, getting this exact. I mean, look, we are like flush, getting everything exact where it needs to be. And so that comes in the design phase. I don't think I'm going to add a lift to this garage because I'm going to have a lift down the street at our design studio. I don't think I'd really change anything. I may end up, doing my beloved Sonic MSS Plus cabinets in here someday. I like these cabinets a lot. We wanted to show these are our entry-level cabinets. They're great. They really are great. I'd highly recommend them. If you had the money, I would buy Rousseau or Sonic MSS Plus. But if you don't have the money and you can get to this level, you're ending up with a really great cabinet setup. And so these will be our sort of entry-level line. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for taking this journey. You're going to see this garage a whole lot on the channel. I plan on staying here for a little while. My kids are going to the school right down the street, and it's like literally 200 yards away. And so Kate's in 5th grade, so we got a ways to go. So I think I'm going to stay in this house and stay here for a while. What I may do if I get bored is maybe I'll buy 2 of these houses next to each other and build a tunnel underneath or something like that. So anyway, thanks for taking this journey with us, and hopefully I'll see your garage designed on Facebook from our marketing team at some point. But thanks to everybody involved for helping on this, Mike and Trevor, Justin, Ted and Andrew making deliveries every other day. My dad as well delivering us stuff. The design team, Kyle and Chris and Brooke and all the design, Scott, the design guys, for helping get this all ordered and put together. Thanks for watching, and make sure to go to obsessedgarage.com and buy all the new stuff that's on the way. Tools, Pressol, shelving, and keep an eye out for the DI system. You're going to want that. See you soon.